Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing VELO. The ticker is VELO against USDT on the 4-hour time frame. I will also zoom out to the daily to analyze that too. So if you've been keeping up with my previous videos, we have been talking about a very key level of support that VELO does need to hold, and it's this key support zone at 0.013. So we have actually come back down. I think it's for a fifth or fourth point of contact now on this support zone. So we created it here on September the 24th, We had a second point of contact on the 11th of September. We had a wick down to this range here on the 3rd of October. We had another contact point on this zone on the 6th of October, and we have yet again come into this contact territory once more for a fifth point of contact. So right now it's all about holding this key level of support for VELO moving forward. So it has been holding for a couple of weeks, and we do need to see it maintain. Failing that, we do have key support zones below at 0.011, which I will get into in a second on the daily time frame. But just to analyze here a little bit more on the 4-hour, what you'll notice is that we've got the 20 EMA right here that has been acting as a level of resistance since we formed the death cross. So we formed the death cross right here on the 1st of October, and since then we came back down to this retest zone on the 0.013, very similarly to the past. And from this retest zone, we ran into the the 4-hour 20 EMA. So this 4-hour 20 EMA right now is acting as a strong level of resistance. You can see that we was running into it for a very long period of time here. So this stretched all the way from the 4th until the 5th. So for about a day, we was trying to break through. We couldn't. We initially retested the support zone. We did eventually break out of the 20 EMA, but it was initially just a deviation, and we failed to even run back up to the 55, which hasn't had a retest of resistance, by the way, since this death cross. So I do think that 55 will eventually be met, and I think this gap between the EMAs will potentially get filled. So there's sort of quite a large gap here between the 20 and 55, and when you do get a large gap away from the EMAs, you do tend to start pulling back towards them. So what I'm hoping for right now is that we can hold this level of support right here, and again try and retest these EMAs above that are resistance. So we have the 20 EMA sitting at 0.0143 and the 55 sitting at 0.015. These are two key levels above that we need to reclaim in order to see any sort of reversal and to confirm this is a local bottom for VELO. So what happens if we fail to hold it? Well, as I said, we've got the 0.011 target below. What this could be, I'm going to zoom out to the weekly, in fact, and have a little look at this here. On the weekly time frame, what we potentially could be in is some sort of ABC correction, where we've come back to the 55. We had a rally up over the past couple of weeks into the latter part of September, and right now we're just coming back in a flat C wave looking for a level of support on the weekly EMAs. So right now we are still holding the weekly EMAs as support. We are above them, which indicates on the macro we are still in an uptrend. So right now it does look like dangerous territory. We are sitting on the macro sort of level of support that I would like to see VELO hold here, and the 20 EMA currently sits at 0.0133. So we need to see these hold, or we could potentially be coming back for a bit more of a larger C wave correction here, where it might look like we're going to reverse this sort of EMAs and drag these down, but I think this will just offer a prime opportunity for a spring breakout here for VELO in the next couple of months. Because what we've got to consider is something else that I've covered before here on the weekly time frame, is we've got this previous double bottom which sits at 0.011, and I've covered this many times, and I think right now what's going on is from these 0.07 lows, we've had this wave 1 into that double bottom resistance. We had the wave 2 pullback. Right now we've had a wave 3. At the moment we're going through a wave 4, and we're looking for a level of support. If we lose these EMAs, the next support line for me is the 0.011 of this double bottom breakout before this wave 3. So right now, the wave 4 could come back as low as the previous wave 1 to keep this pattern valid. And at that point, if we do come back, I think it would just be a larger spring for a breakout leading into the next couple of months for VELO. So my technical target, if we was to, for example, if we was to come back down to this 0.01 range and eventually look for a breakout to then go and tackle this is 0.02 high, then I think we've minimum got a target of a breakout to 0.022 or the 1618, which takes us back up to these local highs. So the next impulsive wave 5, if this is a wave 4 complex correction, could take us up to these impulsive targets. So for me, if we hold 0.013 or 0.011 and we confirm that as a local low, it would look quite nasty, but it would just technically be inside this wave 4 correction an A, B, C correction to a key level of support before continuation. And I think there's not too much to worry about. As long as we are above these EMAs on the weekly, then these EMAs on the smaller time frames don't matter too much. Now the daily, having a look here at the daily, we have had the bullish cross on the 20th of August and we had this nice impulsive move. It does look like we have sort of put in a little bit of a double top here, which is giving more confidence if we lose 0.013. So if we do lose the 0.013 range, which is actually where we're just sitting on that neckline right now, we're literally hovering on it like a knife edge. So if we start closing below that and hitting our heads, it's just giving a bit more confidence that we are looking to pull back to that 0.01 range, which is the previous double bottom on the 0.07s that we've just come from. So we had this large double bottom in the past, and right now we broke above it. We was caught between a level of support and resistance right here, had a flat ABC correction, broke out. We've then created this 0.013 support, and right now we're trying to hold this to look for the local low before the next leg up. All about whether this 0.013 range right here is the low, or if we lose that and hit our heads and continue on down to this 0.011, which is a very key level of previous resistance and support that VELO has been at many points in its past time. So I think it's very important to consider that we are looking to either hold this point at 0.013 and reject this potential death cross, because we've got these EMAs that are looking to flip bearish here. We want to invalidate a death cross, because if we look at the past death cross, we had a death cross here back in the 11th of June, and it wasn't too tasty once that formed. So we want to avoid this death cross on the daily coming down, because if we keep coming down and hitting our heads, it's given more likelihood that we're going to come back in for a bit more of a deeper correction. And that's where it gives the higher probability that if we do keep coming down, then that 0.011 range is initially the next level of support before looking to build some sort of structure on that range and building a macro higher low. Because what we would have is you've got a high, a low, you've got these higher highs, and then we'd have a higher low before trying to put in a higher high. And this is where you've got the wave 1, the wave 2, the macro wave 3. This is a complex ABC wave 4 looking for the spring back up to these highs at 0.028. So that's really it from me today, guys. At the moment, it's all about holding that 0.013 range. We're above the macro level EMAs on the weekly time frame. Right now, we just need to start reclaiming the lower time frame EMAs. So on the 4 hour, we've got the 20 and 55 on our heads that we need to tackle above, that I was speaking about on the start of this video. On the daily, we have the death cross that we want to invalidate, so we need to start picking up the pace, or it's given more confluence to 0.011 retest for support. And on the weekly, as I've just said as well, we are above the EMAs and remain in solid structure, as long as we can hold this 0.01 double bottom. Because remember, as I said, I think somewhere through the video, this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this wave 4 that we're currently in now could come back as low as this wave 1 to stay valid to sort of confirm this 5 wave move. So if we start retracing any lower than 0.011, I would be a little bit concerned, but right now we are above that. We're above the EMAs on the macro, so there's not too much to worry about, and I will keep you updated as we go along. I hope you've enjoyed the content today, guys. From Chart Nerd TA, take care, peace out.